I'm just going to get straight into it and read No Experience Necessary by James Mackay from his book Quiet Circus. The ad read short and sweet. Omnipotent creator type wanted for fucked up world. And to be honest, I needed the money. You know how it is, what with the price of everything. The hours seemed daunting, but they explained at the agency that freedom from the constraints of space and time was a standard clause in the contract. The job's sole flaw, in their eyes, was the relative lack of openings for further advancement. I said, look, I have no ambition. I just want to pay the rent. And they said that was just the kind of answer they were after, though looking back on it, they must have been desperate, the post having been so long unfilled following the shock resignation of the previous employee. So I signed and went home dreaming. Extra bonus weekends in the middle of the week. Atomic bombs that do no harm and have a graceful fallout of pink butterflies. Go back and stop the Inquisition before a single heretic gets even slightly singed. I toyed with plans for a garden filled with every kind of dancing flower and foliage to sing a peaceful shade of music in one long Mediterranean evening, for you and I, my love, to sit together through eternity, though it doesn't take an all-knowing deity to figure out that still you wouldn't want to sleep with me. I don't remember much about the job, too much having to be everywhere in the universe at once, and people dying painfully all the time, and not even being allowed to wax wrathful on the bad ones, it being out of line with the Culture of Mercy initiative they've been trying to introduce. As far as I can see, the whole organisation is a fucking shambles. That whole freedom from space and time thing turned out to be a ruse designed to circumvent official controls on the length of the working week. I left the only way I could, by wiping every bit of consciousness that wasn't just plain simple armchair beatnik, renting poet, lover of rain on urban pavements, and the company of fellow 21st century type degenerates. One last thing. Before I walked, I whacked up the brightness, the colour, and the volume on whichever portion of reality I might happen to inhabit for the amusement of my friends and the irritation of my enemies. So far, it seems to be working. I feel bad sometimes about leaving them short-handed, but no one lasts too long, they tell me. Not in that line of work. So the second poem, I actually found just a printout copy of it in a chest of drawers when I moved house. I don't know why 10 years ago me decided to stash it there, but this is The Heaven of Animals by James L. Dickey. Here they are, the soft eyes open. If they have lived in a wood, it is a wood. If they have lived on plains, it is grass rolling under their feet forever. Having no souls, they have come anyway, beyond their knowing. Their instincts wholly bloom and they rise. The soft eyes open. To match them, the landscape flowers, outdoing desperately, outdoing what is required. The richest wood, the deepest field. For some of these, it could not be the place it is without blood. These hunt as they have done, but with claws and teeth grown perfect, more deadly than they can believe. They stalk more silently and crouch on the limbs of trees, and their descent upon the bright backs of their prey may take years in a sovereign floating of joy. And those that are hunted know this as their life, their reward, to walk under such trees in full knowledge of what is in glory above them, and to feel no fear, but acceptance, compliance. Fulfilling themselves without pain at the cycle's centre, they tremble, they walk under the tree, they fall, they are torn, they rise, they walk again. The next book is actually a book of poems by a poet called Jan Martin, and it's a collection of poems about the coastline in and around the town that I grew up in. So these are some quite special poems to me for that reason. And the poet has actually illustrated the whole book all the way through, and I will show it to the camera, but I don't think it does it any justice, really. They're really intricate illustrations. So I'm going to read a poem called the Watchet poem. Watchet is the town that I grew up in. We are here between, not sea as such or land as such, a channel through an island and looking backwards at both. But the limpid green light is like an ocean, and the wind here comes straight off the sun. It burns off every surface and strips bare layers of secret history like a ruined house where old letters and photographs surface for a moment, gone and come back before crumbling away. And way over there, an ancient monument of the future takes shape, sometimes fossilised ribs of a pale dinosaur nailed into the rock, although this one comes with its own extinction event. We have been here forever, and we will cast out forever after. While we examine our nails, the rock expands in waves to be eaten by the sea, and the wind means nothing and is answerable to no one. So that is from We Are Here Between by Jan Martin. On my screen it looks backwards, but I don't know if when I upload it to YouTube it will be the right way around. So thank you, Jan, for writing that book and letting me read from it. The next book I'm going to read from is Shine Darling by Ella Frears, which I was given for Christmas last year. And I found a lot of the poems in it a bit hit and miss. Some of them are really good. Some of them are about sex, which kind of makes me uncomfortable, but I think that's my problem. And I think it's important to remember that just because I don't like some of the poems, that doesn't mean that they're not good poems, because I think they are good poems. So the poem I've chosen to read from this book is Visitation. I lie across the pond, then play dead at the bottom of your glass. I turn up the heating, and all the flies wake up. It's a long way to the next warm month. This may not look hard just hanging around, but the pressure builds, and I feel heartbroken daily, have to pick things up and hurl them. Please understand it's not at you, it's with you. I am a huge sail billowing dramatically in a light breeze. If I could just taste the air, if I could even just press my face against the window and feel the cold on my cheek. I open my mouth like a dog and pant in your ear. The red brick against the thin, pale blue sky is no comfort. I can see an insect on the window pane, green and translucent. I can see the dark shape of its organs working as it crawls. It's nearly night now, I'm not even joking. Bad news settles on my chest like a cold each morning. I climb inside your jumper, stay cocooned until you become hot and itchy, cast us both aside. I try to touch the running water from the tap. I make myself very big and stride across the fields. I'm careful not to look, no, not even glance, at the small patch of grass where it happened. So like I said, I moved house a couple of months ago, and I found a load of books that I've not touched in easily sort of like 8 or 10 years. So I found a lot of books where, you know, me from 10 years ago has folded over the pages of poems that she liked a lot. And so one of the books I found was Waiting for My Clothes by Leanne O'Sullivan. And one of the pages whose corner I folded over was this one, and it's called My Father Asks Me Why. How could he have known? The nights I forced myself to stay awake doing sit-ups, up and down, and when I nearly passed out, the skinny saint chanted and numbers lay across the plate of my mind. She never let me rest, and my parents, being somehow bound to me, never slept. At first light, when the world hatched, I unrolled my body from cramps and ran in light clothes, knowing that my body ate itself in the cold, pared itself down like a sculpture to something that was always nearly perfect. My father couldn't have known that all the while I still believed I was going to win, bone, blood, and chill. Father, I only think to number another mile, going round and round the neighbourhood like a rumour. The world burns out and flips over, turns inside out, the cold side of a hospital pillow, a dead life. Okay, so the next poem I'm really excited to read. It's from All the Names Given by Raymond Antrobus, and I actually asked him if I could read this poem before I did it. I don't usually ask for permission because normally I don't know the poets whose poems I'm reading. So yeah, this is one of the best poetry books I've read this year, and it actually made me cry a couple of times when I was reading it. So the poem I'm going to read is called I Ran Away From Home to See How Long It'd Take My Mother to Notice. Are you my drunk teacher who took our game of rounders way too seriously? Are you the boy who said I had the ugliest smile on the playground? Are you the girl who toe-punted my balls and made me a piss sack of blood? The girlfriend who slept with women behind my back, said it wasn't cheating? I don't know what I'm saying. Would you be my friend? I spent hours in the house alone as a child. I left fingerprints on my sister's CDs so the music kept skipping. I wanted her friends to be my friends, but I wasn't invited to her parties. Are you the party? Are you my dad lying on the sofa saying, I'll soon be dead? When I pull What is Existentialism off my mother's shelf, Simone de Beauvoir says, the movement of my transcendence appears futile. I don't know what that means, so I put it back. Fuck, who loves me? I'm testing everyone. I need space for all my old and new gooey needs and projections. I need constant blaring validation alarms. Give me award ceremonies. Please observe my wall of fame. Best second-guessing overachiever. Best internal monologue while drying dishes. Best self-promoter at the charity fundraiser. Best awkward silence in a moving vehicle. Best bad advice to a couple in crisis. Best non-smoker in the smoking area. Most self-centered fear during the global pandemic. Lifetime Achievement Award for most convincing head nod in a crowded pub. Most triggered person in an empty house. Wow. Yeah, I love that poem a lot. And I managed to read it without crying, so thanks Raymond for writing a book that made me cry and letting me read from it. I have a couple more to read. So the first one is called Good Bones, and it's by Maggie Smith. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious ill-advised ways, 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways that I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible, and for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor, walking you through a real shithole, chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You can make this place beautiful. Okay, so the next poem I'm going to read is by a friend of mine, Barry Fenterman Hall, with massive apologies to Gil Scott Heron. When Brexit comes, you will not be prioritised. White is not the original canvas on which the world was colorised. Jim Davidson will not make a comeback. Chalky was not really his friend. You are not the beginning of anything, nor the default setting. You will queue for cabbages with a Pantone nation. When Brexit comes, you will not be prioritised. God is not an Englishman, you are not his messenger sent to wash the world in shocking pink. Dunkirk was a defeat. A flotilla of weekend pleasure boats are not coming to save you, and neither is Sir John Mills with a cold Danish beer. There are no exceptions. You will be on universal credit with Jakob Karosh and Li Chang. When Brexit comes, you will not be prioritised. How you voted is irrelevant. Maggie and Winston are dead racists, and their statues will be pissed on by poodles and shat on by doves. Theresa May will never be any more of a statue than she is now. Conservatism is not a natural state. It does not appear in the periodic table of elements. The calcium in your bones will be at the same levels as your anarchist neighbour. When Brexit comes, you will not be prioritised. We are finally all in it together, you and I. There will be no further extension. Brexit will come. It will be televised live from your living room, and you will be the star. Thank you, Barry. I love that poem. I think I'm going to read one that I wrote, and then I'll read a few more that are from another anthology that I bought recently. I don't normally read one that I wrote, but I'm going to anyway. So this is the first time I've read it out loud. I've been feeling quite grumpy lately, so I think that really comes through in the poem. I'm tired of being a person. I want to be a cloud or a leaf or a brick. Bricks don't listen to Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken by Lloyd Cole and the Commotions on repeat while staring at beautiful women on the bus. Bricks don't have to navigate difficult relationships with their parent or deal with the crushing weight of guilt about navigating difficult relationships with their parents. Bricks do not wonder when they should stop inviting their dead friends to poetry events on Facebook. Bricks are not obsessed with fitting in the space between your shirt and your chest. If I was a brick being thrown through your bedroom window, you would notice me, have to clean up after me. Instead, I walk the long way to work, put the phone down gently, write this poem on my lunch break, give the world back to itself. Thank you for listening. Okay, so I'm really excited as well to read a few more poems from this anthology, which I bought recently. I've folded over a lot of corners of pages, so I'm just going to read until I run out of pages. This is Excise by Fred Daguerre. Each year I travel, my passport photo looks less like me. Two of us trick our way through customs. My heart dances and I tell myself, don't breathe so shallow when I face a uniform block my path, unlike my laminated photo tucked in my breast pocket, locked in amber and oblivious. I age for both of us at double speed. My silent partner keeps his poker face. I do the talking for the two of us. Nights I dream this face, but not my life, leaving me with a sour taste and smell, longing for a country not on any map. To be the man who crosses borders without a passport, whose face matches curved lines that spell my name. The official behind plexiglass takes her time, looks me up and down. I speak as she scans my passport and watches for what the screen brings up about me. I've no idea what she sees that makes her ask about my line of work. I answer with a face that's stranger to my passport every day, telling lies about a life not lived, not his. This is a poem called In Praise of Fixer Women by Jessica Traynor. So many corners in this world just waiting to knock out your teeth. How many times can that broken nose knit itself up like new? You're a punch bag, a suit stuffed with duck down, a helium balloon in a furnace. But still you trip about forgetting your vitamins. A pint is not a meal. And between your whimsical pratfalls, the missed appointment, the lost job, the unpaid loan, there are those tar pits we all tiptoe around. The abandoned wives, the child that no one mentions, because tar sticks, and we don't like the look of your filthy shoes. You're a laugh riot, an ice cube on a stove, an unattended chip pan spitting your gold into our faces, and oh, how it burns our eyes, but we hide it in the tiny pockets of silence that line our clothes, that keep us afloat in the dark water when we drag you yet again towards the shore. And though your warehouse is bare, they are out there waiting, those women fixers of men, ready to pull the stones from your pockets, replace them with cups of tea that scald your balls as they spill, and to stop your mouth with slices of cake as they wrap 100 scarves around your neck and wind until you find you're choking. And isn't it only what's best for you? And doesn't it serve you right? Okay, this is The World is Too Huge to Grasp by Matthew Dickman. Still, Tiger, there's no reason not to tie your wife up if that's what she's been dreaming about in traffic. No reason not to go out and eat 20 donuts if that's what you want instead of granola, because whether you like it or not, it's a skeleton you're wearing under those Italian jeans. For my part, I'm going to watch hours of television wearing nothing but a pair of running shoes. I'm going to walk out into the yard and begin courting the rose bushes. I'm not going to let a little thing like the world stand in my way. Why should I? I understand it as much as I understand penguins, and I still go to the zoo. I still watch them swimming underwater. It's like watching really beautiful gods moving within a universe that other taller gods built for them out of compassion and ingenuity. It would be easy to sit at the bar smoking, drinking, ruminating about the why of penguins, pulling our hair out, crying into our gin about how the penguins have forsaken us, how nature is having another party and we're not invited. I like the world in all its incredible forms. When I've had the shit beat out of me, my friends who've died their violent and accidental deaths falling from windows, swerving into the lights of traffic, my suffering, my unearned joy, my hand reaching up through the yards of fabric that made your dress, the midnight movies, all the kids huffing all the paint thinners, the comedy of the poor and the ruthlessness of the rich, how we're too hungry to fight, too crushed by debt and the psycho promise of there's always tomorrow, of rent to own, The smell of carrots, the smell of gasoline, the mysteries of bread and wine. The sky in Montana with Laura beneath it. The sky in Portland when my brother was buried in his little tin of ash. The happiness of love and the pity of sex. The bathroom stalls, the fruit markets. Rob proposing on one knee, wearing a panda costume, sweating inside the fake fur. His bride in love. The quarterback's son, paralysed from the neck down, and then gone. The fear and fetish of genitals. The way we beat ourselves into suits and high heels. I see how we are with each other. I see how we act. It's not the world with its 10 zillion things we should be grasping, but the sincerity of penguins, the mess we made of the roses. So one of the few poems I've read recently that's kind of about sex that doesn't make me kind of go, because I think it's really hard to write about it in a way that isn't really cringeworthy. Okay. Oh, so this is Gold Hoop Earrings by Phoebe Stocks. Someone did this to me. I loved him, but that doesn't matter. Having an affair is just getting all dressed up to go cut yourself. My brain used to shut itself off and go quiet and fuzzy the moment he put his hands on me or took them off. I've tried to imagine how he felt, but I was too busy falling down my own set of drains. I'm going to spend my life correcting his attraction to me. I'm different now. I'll never wear lingerie again. I'm going to acquire some gold hoop earrings and find someone to film me talking and talking. I'm going to leave the country and become an impressive nightmare. Just watch me. Okay, I'm going to read another poem by that poet because I think her work is amazing. So this is Attempt by Phoebe Stocks. I think I'm pronouncing her name wrong, probably. This is what I remember. The paramedic said, "We can't help you unless you've already died. We have to know you're serious." I think his name was Dennis. I said, "It feels pretty fucking serious, Dennis." I thought death might render me serene, but it didn't. I wasn't going down without a fight. I wanted to steal the backless cotton nightgown they gave me to wear. It was soft and pink. I wanted to shove it in my handbag and run. As usual, I cried all my makeup off. I flirted with the junior doctor. He said I had young woman's syndrome, which means your veins are hard to find. I said, "You have no idea," and puked. My head split all the way along its seams. It took my mother an age to arrive. When they sent her out, she did not go. She hung around all night. I did not die. Okay, I'm going to read one more. And this is The Posh Mums Are Boxing in the Square by Wayne Holloway Smith. The posh mums are boxing in the square, roughing each other up in a nice way. This is not the world into which I was born, so I'm changing it. I'm sinking deep into the past and dressing my own mum in their blue spandexes, svelte black stripes from hip to hem, and husbands with better dispositions toward kindness. Or at least, I'm giving her new lungs. I'm giving her a best friend with no problems, and both of them pads, some gloves to go at each other with, in a nice way. I'm making it a warm day for them, but also I'm making it rain. The two of them dapping it out in long shadows, and watching her from the trees grow strength in her thighs, my mum, grow strength in her glutes, my mum, her back taut upright, her knees, and watching her grow, no bad thing in her stomach, no tumour, her feet do not hurt to touch. My mum, she is hopping, sinews are happening, wiry arms developing their full reach, no bad thing explodes. Sweat and not gradual death. I'm cheering. No thing in her stomach, no alcohol, no cigarettes with their crotonaldehyde, let my dad keep those. No removal of her womb. And I'm cheering her on in better condition. Cheering, she is learning how to fight her own body. In spandex, her new life. And though there is no beef between them, if her friend is gaining the upper hand, I will call out from the trees her name. Christine! And when she turns, as turn she must, my mum, in the nicest possible way, can slug her right in the gut. I said I was going to read one more, but there was actually one poem in this book I really did want to read, and I completely forgot. And now I don't think I can find it, but maybe next time. Thanks for watching.